Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening. My computer's at it again. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm so happy to see you all. Hi, I'm Bob Pace, and here we are to fight CPS together. To get back your children. That's what it's all about. And it's important about families. Now, I'm glad you found me. I was found on Facebook, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. And it's probably been a lot of heartache for you that you're going through, because I know I too have been fighting CPS. I've been fighting them for 15 years. Three of those years when they were stolen from me, and the first 5 years when there were false allegations made. And then since then, I've had this podcast that I do because I want to help others not go through what I went through. I want to help others forewarned about how bad CPS can be. Now, I'm not saying that CPS is all bad. That's not what I'm trying to get the message across. It's just that there's 900 people of you, over 900, and I've been doing this for 15 months, and I've talked to around the world. All 50 states, I've talked to representatives from those states. Meaning people that had cases that where their children should not have been taken, they were in danger. They should not, they're not doing family reunification. They're not looking out for the parents' rights or the grandparents' rights or other family members' rights. It is a bad agency that I found out from my experience and from the experience of 900 others. We all have something in common. CPS has turned rogue in certain counties. Now, the structure of CPS is they're set up by Congress, a part of social services mandated to protect our children from neglect and abuse. So they've created a department of their thing that deals with children. It has many different names, but all means the same. It's the Child Protection System. It's the Child Protection System. Now, the Child Protection, or the CPS, what it calls, refers to government agencies in the United States that investigate the allegations of child abuse or neglect. And if confirmed, they intervene by providing services to the family through a safety plan, in home monitoring, supervision, or if a safety plan is not feasible or in emergencies, they will remove the child from the custody of their parent or legal guardian that is in danger, in immediate danger. Now, I know that other places and other counties will use another name, and they want to attempt to reflect more family-centered as opposed to child-centered practices such as Department of Children and Family Service, DCFS, which is found in California. There is the Department of, SSS, Department of Social Services. There's DCS, Department of Children's Services in Arizona. And so even in Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So with all these different names, it's a lot easier to just refer to the child protection system when I'm talking about CPS. Now, I've also heard from other countries. This show is open to worldwide. I've heard from Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, Saudi Arabia, Libya, and then in Africa, I've heard from Liberia, Sudan, Rwanda, Mozambique, and 4 provinces in South Africa. And then I've heard from up in Europe, I've heard from Denmark and Sweden and England and Scotland and Wales. Then across the pond, I heard from North America, from 4 provinces in Canada. And of course, the United States with all its 50 states and the District of Columbia. Then south the border to Mexico. Then down to South America to Grenada. Then across the Pacific to New Zealand. And then nearby Australia. There's 2 states in Australia. So that's a lot of people that I've talked to. And they're all included here. They all have the same problem we do in the United States. So what I'm saying is that you got to be careful when you're dealing with CPS because a lot of them have gone rogue. In my case, mine started off for 5 years of false allegations. I diffused every time they meet with me. I had unknown that my in-laws, my wife's mother and father and 3 sisters and brothers from Ohio were calling in and reporting things that weren't true, making it very difficult for me and my wife. We were going through a really bad hardship. In 2010, I lost my job through no fault of my own. It also was a bad time for predatory loans. There's a lot of things. The banks were collapsing. There's a lot of problems. And when I lost my job, I was devastated. But I was determined to keep my home. I didn't lose my home until 7 years later when I had to get money and I had to put my home for sale. And I did a quick sale and lost a lot of money in my home. That was so I could hire Mr. Davis. He's the one that got 2 of my 3 children back. He got my 2 boys back. Unfortunately, they took 3 of my 6 children. They were the younger ones. The older ones were not living home. They have families of their own. But he's trying to help us save our daughter. And what had happened was he caught the social worker in a big lie. She had committed perjury. And by committing perjury, she opened herself up to a civil lawsuit. And Mr. Davis is good. I highly recommend him. He's the one that got my 2 boys back. And in my case, there was a trial going on about whether or not my wife's sister and husband could adopt her daughter. We didn't want that to happen. And Mr. Davis was determined not to make it happen. So he asked the social worker who was on the stand under oath, how good of parents are these people? And she says they're great people. Then he asked another question very calmly and said, has there been any domestic violence? Oh, no, no domestic violence. Well, that was an outright lie because Vincent knew this. But he brought out a folder and he was thumbing through it, and the social worker was wondering, and everybody on the court was wondering what he's doing. But he started reading reports. There was a stack of reports about a half-inch thick. And each report talked about my wife's sister and husband of domestic violence. And it wasn't just arguing, they were hitting each other. That's not the environment you want to put a child in. That's not the environment. So she committed. She lied. she committed a big lie, and she was open for a lawsuit. And she was mad, and she retaliated. She told us parents, "You're never going to see your daughter again." And you know what she did? She knew that Kirsten was of age in California. You can emancipate from your parents. She told her daughter, "You're going to divorce mom and dad, which means you're no longer going to be with that family or her 3 brothers or her 2 sisters or her grandparents, both sets were living, or aunts and uncles and cousins." She was told to change her name, which she did. She had a beautiful middle name called Honolulu. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth I've been to, in the island of Kauai. Then she instructed her daughter that you're going to seal your birth certificate, get a new birth certificate, put the names of your foster care parents that are going to adopt you, and they'll be your mom and dad. And on top of that, she got a second Social Security card and was double dipping out of my Social Security fund. Not only was she getting money received her first Social Security as her first name, she now had a new name and she was getting second Social Security. And that's wrong. And you're talking thousands of dollars she was getting from my Social Security. Now, I've made a lot of Social Security in my first so many years of working. I have a lot of Social Security. But they won't give it to you. They only give it to you in dribbles because they hope that you die and they don't have to ever pay that Social Security back. You see why the government takes Social Security from you is they need working capital to work. So if everybody pays into the Social Security fund, the government uses money and makes interest off your money. And they're hoping that you'll die before you can collect the money, or if you are taking the money, they hope you'll die soon. That's their gamble. So anyway, it is a tough battle to fight CPS, to be dealing with CPS. Now I'm going to put down some comments that you guys can read. It's about how to text messages in this room. There are 4 ways to participate in this room. First way is you found this room and you're listening. That's great. You can send me emojis, and I have no emojis. And then you can also like hearts and smiley face and thumbs up. You can also send me stars. And if you want to follow me, check the follow button. And if you want to be notified, when I'll be on, check the notification button. And so, and of course, take notes while you're in here. Hopefully you'll learn some things that will be helpful to you. But if you want to do more than just be in my room, you can text in messages, either a comment or a question about CPS. All I ask is for your first name, where your case was, what city or county, and if you're from one of the countries I mentioned, there's 21 of them, include your country name. And if they have a province or state, include that too. Also, try to be complete with your CPS case. Tell as much as you can so you don't have to go back and forth guessing. Tell me all about your case from start to finish and the status where you're at. Now, a third way to interact in this podcast is to be on the podcast as a guest. From time to time, I get 1, 2 people that like to talk on the show and help others. Now, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, all you're going to do is write an email to my show producer. Now, my show producer, her name is Grace. She's worked really hard here. And I want to thank her for all her hard work. I really want to thank her. Now, I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and again on at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's two days, 2 times a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 shows. Whew. Now you write the email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's the email on the screen. And she'll give you a link to StreamYard, which is the application I use when I broadcast on YouTube, the StreamYard application. And if you get bounced off, you can use the link again. It'll get you back on. Hey, we got some people in here. We have some YouTubers. I have 8 rooms. One is YouTube room and 7 Facebook rooms. The all channel here, all your comments are here. So no matter where you're at, if you type in a comment, I'll see you. Now, I have a lady tonight who's been on before, Delight Betterpen. And she has a thing called a $1.99 super sticker. And I don't know what that's for, but I'm glad to see you, Delight, and welcome. You've been on the show before, and you've also requested to talk to Mr. Davis. So I know you've talked on the show. But welcome. And there's Margaret. Hello, Margaret. Good evening, Margaret. You're part of the family, and you come home to say hi to me. I'm so glad to see you. And Margaret further asks, I got to blow that up because I'm having a hard time reading it, so I'm going to put up there. Margaret says they're supposed to be reunified families, and they do the complete opposite. That's true, Margaret, because in 1997, Bill Clinton signed into law that says they're supposed to do adoptions in foster care is taking too long. So he thought if we offer $5,000 to $6,000, or if the $10,000 is their special need child, that they would be adopted faster. So there's an incentive program going on. And that is corrupt. That is corrupt to bribe parents to do what they're doing. That's wrong, Margaret. That's really wrong there. Okay. Danelle says, thank you, Grace. That's great. We have someone in this room that thanks our show producer, Grace, who works hard behind the scenes. Thank you. Now we have somebody that I don't think I recognize the name. No, I do. It's our friend from, oh boy. I think you're from Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken. Are you from Indonesia, or are you from Sudan? I know you're from one of the 2 countries. I think you're from Indonesia. That's Agat Atim Agat. And welcome. It's evening 9 for me, but it's morning wherever you're at. And I think it's probably Indonesia, because it's the next day in Indonesia, the morning of the next day. So it's Tuesday. I'm still on Monday. I'm still on the west coast of California, and I'm still in the evening, the mid evening. But I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you, and thank you for coming back again. That's one of our international people that has a problem with CPS. And Delight Better Pants says hi. Okay, I just don't understand what the $1.99 was, but maybe you can explain what that is. I'm glad to help a little bit. You're very welcome. I'm glad to help a little bit here. Okay, Agat Atim Agat is from Sudan. And do you extend this program beyond Kansas? Well, right now, you're welcome to come into my room. You're welcome to call me. I'll put my number up too, and I'll try to help you as best I can. I don't know if Mr. Davis is able to practice law in Sudan. I don't know, but you can ask him about that. You can ask him about that. But Sudan is the newest country, and I'm glad to see you again. I really am, because he has learned things from what I said that will help him. Daylight Better Pan. I just wanted to do something to thank you. That's all. Well, I'm glad you did, and thank you very much for coming in there. I think I know what the 199 is. That's a star, the super sticker. Well, thank you, Dylan. That's really, really great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I enjoy trying to help you as best as I can. You're part of my family. All of you that come back regularly are my family. And we have our guy from Sudan who's asking, does it extend? I'm talking to you, so I'm able to help you with a lot of advice. All you have to do is ask me a question. All you have to do is ask me a question. Delight, Better Pin, and I wanted to do something to thank you. That's all. I'm glad. I'm glad you did that. I may be taking these messages after I read them, but I appreciate that. We don't have a WhatsApp number here. I do have an email. I'll put my email in there. Agat. But you could be scheduled as a guest to talk on the show by contacting my producer. And you can actually talk on the show because it's an internet application. There's no charge for that. Now I'm going to put my phone number up. And my phone number is 698, area code 626-698-0990. Our country code is 01. Our country code is 01. I know that South Africa country code is 27. I know the United Kingdom, England country code is 44. I think Australia is 051. But I get to know the codes of your country eventually. So I'm going to leave my phone number up on the screen. So that way you can text. Oh, I need to put my email up. Okay, I'm going to put my email up. My email is bobp at vincentwdavis.com. Now, I don't know if that's going to jump around. So, yeah, it did. I got to fix it. So, we have it here. The IS separated. Okay. The E and the N separated. Okay, my email I'm going to put up is going to go into all the different rooms. But that's my email. Okay? The person from Sudan had asked me for that. Now, Felicia just came in on another cruel as Felicia. She came in on another another YouTube account. Hello, Felicia. Hello and welcome. Now, I just showed my email on all the rooms, and it's going to repeat itself. So you should see my email all over the place. So I have the phone number, I have an email, and the other number I have on the screen, the 888-888-6582, is the phone number of my office. And you can call the office and retain Mr. Davis right away if you like, or speak to him about his retainer. Just make sure when you call the office, you introduce yourself and say that Bob Pace sent you. And if you talk to Mr. Davis, make sure you say that Bob Pace sent you. Okay, so there's my phone number that you wanted there. Not phone number, but my email. Abcot Atom Acop. Edge OK or something. Edge Oak. Boy, your name's a hard one. He's from Sudan, Africa. Sudan, Africa. Also, at that number, 888-888-6582, you can get a special new guide that's out. It's called the Grandparent Guide to get guardianship of your family members, and also you have a voice to speak, because grandparents are just as important as the rest of you. They should get a chance to intermingle with that, so that they have a really good resource for the energy and so forth. Yeah. Now, Krull says all parties involved in appeal case here. Let me see what. I know you guys were talking about appeal the other night, wanted me to elaborate more on appeal, and I'm willing to do that. All parties involved in appeal case have waived oral arguments. Well, I don't know if you want to waive your right for an oral argument. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what the appeal is about. Now, when you place appeal or do appeal, it's not about the evidence that you submitted or the case was talked about. It's only something that maybe went wrong with the due process of law. There may have been a slip up when they tried to do something, and that could be granted an appeal process. So it's not to rehash the evidence, but it's to talk about something that maybe they had the wrong evidence or they had the wrong situations out there. Now, Cruel further says, so what's the point? I don't understand when you say, so what's the point? That sounds like a give up posture or negative posture, and it shouldn't be meant to be that way. The purpose of the appeal is try to correct something that was wrongly done against you, that wrongly tried to take you in. Well, after you place the appeal is very important. It has to be done. If you're doing it pro se, it's going to be really difficult because you have to know the law. You put on legal paper that has numbers on it. That's really important. Also, you have to contest. You got to serve all parties that are concerned in your appeal process. I need more information on the appeal you're trying to do, Cruel. I need more information. You don't have to waive your rights. You should never be forced in it. If they are somebody's being bad, you need to make a complaint. You need to make a complaint, and you may have to go all the way to the top, to Washington, D.C. or the state. Now, you're in Ventura, California, so you have to go to Sacramento if you want to address what you're trying to say. Now, Cruel says, please call me. Oh, wait, that's my number. I'm sorry, Cruel. I thought I put you what your message was. Cruel says, my court-appointed appellate attorney waived without consulting me. I know, you told me the other day. The only problem you have is you have something called appointed. Anytime an attorney is appointed in CPS matters, they're corrupt. They're not gonna fight for you. You either have to do pro se or hire a professional, or a combination of both. But I do want to help you a lot with that, Cruel. I do want to help you with that. Now we have about 30 minutes left of my show time. Because at 8 o'clock, I got to stop my show. Now, Cruel, these guys deliberately flipped up and messed up all kinds of things in my case. I understand that. That's what's wrong with using a court-appointed attorney. That's what's wrong with using them. They're not going to work out right, Cruel. I'm really sorry. It really makes me irk there. Now, Cruel further says, this is Felicia from Ventura, California, court abuse is a discretion when it denies a prima facie hearing to the mother on its face for failing to demonstrate high enough efforts towards reuniting with her children. I agree, Cruel. I agree what you're saying. court abuse is discretion when it's denied a prima facie hearing to the mother on the face for failing to demonstrate enough effort towards reuniting with her children. Well, you got to prove otherwise. You got to prove otherwise. Now, Cruel further says, that's the argument made by my appellate attorney. Well, you need to do a complaint against your appellate attorney. You need to file it at the state of Sacramento, since you're in Ventura, California. And you honestly want to put a complaint into that individual. And I'm sorry, Cruel. That really is bad that you have to use a court-appointed appellate attorney. Now, all you listening to me, my rule number one is you need to have what's called a licensed professional attorney in the area of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those three things are all tied together. That's the kind of attorney you need to look for. I'm talking about my rule number one. And when you are talking to this attorney, there are two important questions you need to ask him. You need to first ask him, now Cruel further says, see what Cruel further says. The ER nursing staff screwed me from the jump at birth, where I was alone throughout until going home. She failed to explain that I had been hospitalized for a month for severe hepatitis diagnostic. So you had been hospitalized a month, and they failed to tell. First of all, why the nurse let the social worker in your room? They're not allowed in the room. By law, you can ask them to stay out of the room. That's awful. Now, Cruel said she went to the ER 5 nights in a row between spending my son's waking hours throughout the day and spending those few hours after eating ER visits with my baby girl in NICU until brother wakes up. She had a really terrible time, Cruel did, and it's wrong. It's wrong there. I contacted the infection and ER or maternity ward when the nurse didn't move the IV from my hand to the other side of my body because it was irritating, painful. They just wrapped more layers of tape. Oh boy, that's miserable. I know what you're going through. That's wrong. So what I'm saying is that, without a real attorney, Cruel, it's going to be hard to do your appellate case. If you do it yourself pro se, that's going to be doubly hard because you don't know all the laws. Now, for some of you that are just joining or have been listening, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a loving family man who has had experience of 41 years of marriage and helped raise 6 children. 3 of them are grown up, and the 3 younger ones are still young adults. One's a teenager, one's just 19, that's the boy. And then the other girl is so it's fast approaching the 8 o'clock hour. I have about 5 minutes left. And at this time, I'm going to take my phone number down because I can't take calls anymore. But that doesn't stop me from wanting to help you. That does not stop me from wanting to help you. Now, I have mentioned the most important rule is to get yourself an attorney. But you need one that has the background of fighting CPS. That is juvenile family court, juvenile court, and okay. With that being said, I really want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. I want to thank Cruel for opening up her heart. She has talked a lot to this family. And I want to help you, Cruel. And I want to do that. I want to thank Margaret and Delight Betterman. I forgot what country or where you're from. Agat is from Sudan, Africa. And again, thank you for showing up again. I'll make sure I have left anybody off here. I want to thank, who else left off here? Delete Bertelman, I've talked to you. Margaret King, I've talked to you too. I want to thank you all for being a part of my podcast tonight. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm broadcasting from the West Coast of California at Surf City, USA. I live about 3 blocks from the beach. But I really feel for you, and I have so many rules to talk over and rehash with you. Don't feel discouraged, Cruel. We will help you out with your appeal. With CPS, it takes time to digest them, to get to know them. But keep in mind that a lot of the CPS have gone rogue, and they're collecting trillions of dollars from our children because of our children. The government in March has to balance their books, and one of the agencies has taken money out redundantly. Oh. So, with this being said, again, keep fighting for your children. Do not give up. Keep fighting for your children. I want to God bless you all. Keep your faith in God and pray to Him. He'll help you through this terrible, terrible time. Now, there'll be Vincent Davis's recorded video. They'll follow my podcast as soon as I sign off. So I'm saying good night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.